بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. واغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الغافرين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Last time we spoke a lot about the differences in the opinions between the scholars of fiqh, the reasons why they differed in opinions, and whether we can take, for example, the easy opinion or we cannot, and what are the conditions of taking the easy opinion, when can we and when cannot we. And all of these details we discussed, and whoever wants to go back to these, he will find them, inshallah, online already, and he can return back to the slides as well. Today we are going to speak about continuation of last week. We'll start with the maqasid of Sharia. When we say maqasid, maqasid means what does the Sharia want to achieve in life? So Sharia wants to protect key things. So first of all, Sharia wants to protect the necessities. So what are these necessities that were identified by the scholars? It's preservation of 5 essentials of human well-being, which is the religion, life, intellect, offspring, and property. Some people, they add on top of these, which is the honor. So the which one of this, religion until property, is first and which is the last? The order of these are meant to be as they are, meaning that Sharia came to protect first the religion of the person. This is when the scholars spoke about, for example, a ruling of darurat tubih al-mahdhurat. Necessities make forbidden things as allowed. So these are the necessities that scholars spoke about. So for example, if there is a necessity, and which is, for example, religion, and there is something which is prohibited, so Islam is going to look at this. So we have a necessity to protect the religion of the person, and then we have a prohibited thing. So the ruling will come in order to protect the religion, then protect the life of the person. So sometimes the person might do something that is prohibited in Islam to protect his life, and it will depend. So there are, for each case should be a question asked about whether can I do that or I cannot, and the answer can be the intellect, the offspring, and the property. So these are the necessities that Islam came to protect. Then Islam went into the second round, or the second level of things for human beings, which is the needs. The needs are things that will relieve the burden from the life of the person. The person can live without, but it will be a burdened life. But if the Islam protected these needs, then the life will not be with burden. For example, marriage, trade, all of these are needs for the life to be easy. Then Islam came as well to protect the luxurious things in the life, which are required to beautify our life, like, for example, purity, protecting the awra, and all of these are additional or luxurious things. So Islam came, and all the scholars, when they identify the fatwa for any aspect or any case, they will go back to the maqasid of Sharia, what Sharia came to protect. Another point, which is how does ijtihad, we spoke about ijtihad, the effort that the scholars do in order to attain an answer for a question. How does ijtihad happen? So what happens is a new thing arises, a new question arises, for a new environment, for change or something, or for a personal need. So a new question arises. So the person who is capable of doing ijtihad will collect everything related to the matter. First, he will start with the language. So for example, if we are speaking about any question, so we will go to the issue, the word in Arabic for that issue, and then they will go to the dictionary, the Arabic dictionary, to understand what options of meanings for that Arabic word. And then they will go, whatever is available from the Quran, from the Sunnah, and the saying of the previous people, and then the types of analogy, and all the required things in order to answer that, they will do, and then they will look into it without being inclined to a madhab. So they will not see whatever has been spoken about. First they will conclude their own, and then they can form an opinion after that. And that's how ijtihad happens. So as you can see, it requires the person to have some foundation that is not available with everyone. Can we change the ijtihad? Can the scholars change the ijtihad or not? It is permissible for the mujtahid to change his opinion if an evidence came to him. And that can be either through a discussion with another mufti or mujtahid, or through a new evidence that he did not see before, and so on. It is required, the scholar said, to come back from ijtihad in the matters related to rights of people if new evidences appear, especially when we are speaking about judging between people. So a judge judged between two people, and then he came up with his ijtihad to the conclusion, then after that another evidence arises. He has to go back, and he has to change his ijtihad. And so he needs to get the rights of the people back. Does the ruling change through time of fiqh? It is known that rulings can change through time due to change in the culture, in the benefits of people, in the necessities. Necessities, by the way, they change through time. At some stage, they added some things. And even nowadays, for example, some new scholars, they added, for example, the home as a necessity. So the necessities can allow some prohibitions to. So if someone without a home, they consider it as a necessity. So all of these are needs that change due time. Necessities, corruption of manners. Nowadays, for example, you see that the manners all over, they are a bit not in a good shape. So they have been corrupted. Weakness of religious drivers. You see the people in general, their religious driver is really weak because they are indulged in this materialistic life. Change of systems with time. All of these are reasons that the rulings can change. Not all of them. Some of them they will stay as they are. The pillars, the main things, they will change, but some rulings can change. Rules that can change are ones driven by general benefits or analogy. These ones that are usually new. They are driven by what? General benefits and analogy. So when the scholar actually took the decision of what's the ruling for wiping on the socks. Okay? So these are things that had lots of approaches. So what are the evidence that were used at that time? Nowadays, what about the socks need nowadays? The socks are changing from before to now. Can we wipe on the now socks or we cannot? Can we only wipe on the leather socks or we can wipe on the cotton socks or the wool socks and so on? All of these changes actually gave the scholars the ability to make some changes on the rulings, and that is required, as we said last time. Every now and then the scholars need to look at all the rules again, but within the changed things. Now comes to the main thing for today's lesson, which is intention. Of course, intention is a key. Islam is different than the man-made system. Islam is a civil and a spiritual system, as it tackles the matters of religion and life. So Islam is a full system, whereas the man-made system is only tackling the life. So the difference between the Islamic system and the man-made system is the spiritual part, and life is embedded in Islam. Truth is divided into two. That doesn't involve courts. So person is responsible in front of Allah on his own self and acts. What does it mean? Like, for example, what's right and what's wrong, which is related to me personally. So the truth that is related to me. There is no one else to, for example, to dispute at the court or in front of the judge. So that's number one. So the truth for that does not involve the court. It's only the relationship between me and Allah. And then the other truth is involve the courts, where, for example, a person needs to prove his ownership for something. And it happens all over the time, from the time of the Prophet ﷺ until now. So the religious rulings are built on intentions, reality and truth. Whereas court matters are built on apparent acts without regards to intentions. So we need to identify, when we speak about a dispute between two, it all relates to what? The evidence, the physical evidence. Whereas when we speak about religious rulings, we have something else, which is reality and intention, intention especially. For example, divorce is applied even by mistake. So for example, someone, by mistake, divorced his wife. Now, look at this. The judge will not know the intention. The judge, when he looks at the case, he doesn't inspect what was your intention and has to follow the facts. Whereas the mufti will say the divorce is not applied based on the intention, and the person can use it according to his internal consciousness. So we have two people here, the judge and the mufti. So if you go, for example, in a divorce case to a judge, the judge will say, what did you say? If the person said, I divorce you, the judge will say, that's it, it's a divorce. If the person went to a mufti, the mufti will say, did you really intend to divorce her? If the person said no, then the mufti will say to him, based on your intention, what you have said to me, you are not divorced. But that is between you and Allah Azza wa Jalla. So I will leave it for you. If you said that your intention was not to divorce, then you are not divorced. So it will be based on the intention of the person. This is how Islam actually came with both the intention and the reality and the truth that is happening. Man-made laws don't adhere to intentions, and no halal and haram in it. So any law, for example, you broke the red light in the street, the policeman will not say to you, what was your intention? That's it, you broke the red light, it's a fact, you will get a fine. Application of man-made laws resulted in reducing the religious effect on life, especially in secret times. They say here, and this is something that I learned here in Australia, if the referee did not see it, it's a goal. Meaning that the internal consciousness is zero. So if you win it, you win it. They did not see it, that's it. For example, lots of people here break the law and go over the red light. They will wait. Was there a camera? Was there a policeman? No camera, no policeman? That's it, I'm safe. Whereas it's actually connected as well. For example, in Islam, it's not only the physical law. We have something else. That is our spiritual relation with Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's the differentiator between us and the others. That's why we need to remind with Islamic rulings and intention to correct actually the life. Yes, Hadra.
On the first point, when you say no halal and haram in it, what does that mean?
Like for example, when it comes to breaking the red light in the Australian system, the Australian system will not say to you, this is haram to break the red light. The Australian system will say to you, you will be fined if you break the red light. That's all. So the man-made system actually don't have something that is related to spirituality. Whereas if it came to Islam, Islam add the halal and the haram to these systems that are organizing our life. Like for example, any system that is put for people to live peacefully and it doesn't contradict Islam, it becomes related to our religion to apply that system. So it becomes halal and haram.
So is it haram to break a red light?
Now you ask yourself a question. If I break a red light, what would be the risk? Death. So is it haram to risk the life of people? So it's a consequence of something. So anything that is prohibited, any consequence that can cause that is prohibited as well.
Can that be extended to speeding as well then?
Well, the speeding, it can be, if it is actually threatening the life, it can be.
But I know someone who will ignore red lights because it's 2 a.m. and there's nobody on the road and they don't think they should stop for a red light. Right?
But no camera.
And no cameras. Yeah, no, that's I mean...
It should not be like this. We as Muslims should actually, if we as Muslims look at ourselves as representatives, we are ambassadors of Islam. We need to be the first people to obey the laws because this law does not contradict anything in Islam. This law is to make life easy, to make life organized. Why would we want actually to break laws and to make life a chaos, a chaotic life? We are
like parking at the masjid for
like
Shumma
parking
prayer.
at the masjid on Friday, and we are giving a
parking
bad
laws.
shape of ourselves because like entering anywhere and just dropping the shoes wherever. All of these actually, they are in a way giving a bad photo about Islam, and it's related to fiqh. And we are going to come to all of these modern issues and see how actually all of these are related to our fiqh, to Islamic fiqh. Intention is criteria for correcting deeds. So the deeds will be correct if the intention is right. The deeds will be incorrect if the intention was wrong. If intention is wrong, any act is unaccepted by Allah and draw no reward for doing it. No, sometimes it will be a bad deed if the intention was wrong. In order to accept a good deed, what is required is two things, which is that good deed is according to what Islam came with, and second, the intention. So the intention, that's why the scholars, they said that intention is half the religion. Why is it half the religion? Because in order to be accepted for anything, if you are praying, if you are making sadaqah, if anything you are doing, in order for that sadaqah to be accepted, you have to have two things. 50%, 50%. What? It is according to Islam, and the intention is correct. So if the intention is not correct, that's it. It's gone. That's why the Prophet ﷺ warned us about our intention and how to correct them.
How do you differentiate between the intention of something that you do on a repetitive basis and something that's on a once-off basis? Because something you do...
We will come to this. How do we differentiate habits, normal acts, all of these, And we are going to come to all of that. The Prophet ﷺ said in the authentic hadith that all the scholars rely on when they are speaking about intentions. Hadith of Umar al-Khattab, verily intentions, acts are by intentions. So the intentions are half of our religion, as Abu Dawood said. As religion is right act and right intention. Shafi'i said that intention is 1/3 of knowledge. Why? Because the knowledge of, because any act is required the heart, tongue, and the acts. So the heart, which is the place of the intention, is 1/3 of these three. So the knowledge, the intention is 1/3 of the knowledge. Scholars said that this hadith, which is acts are by intentions, enters into 70 doors of fiqh. So every time the subject of intention is being introduced in fiqh books, it's going to be the first, usually, that the fiqh books are going to speak about. So, what's the meaning of intention? It's the heart intendance on doing an obligation or non-obligation act. So this is the definition of the scholars of intention. So it's coming from where? The heart. So what is the intention of the heart when doing the obligation or the non-obligation act? Any act from a sane person, someone who is accountable, must have intention. And that concludes one of the 5 rules. What are the 5 rules? We spoke about haram, makruh, permissible, sunnah, and fard. So the intention will put that act under one of the 5 categories. So if the intention was wrong, it will go into haram. If the intention was to obey the obligation of Allah Azza wa Jal, it will go to the first category and it will be fard, and so on. So, any act must have an intention, and that will put that act under one of the 5 categories. Any act without intention is heedless act, and no Islamic judgment relates to it. So if I ate without any intention, nothing to be judged about. Unless I'm eating too much, then that's a bad deed. That will harm, for example, my body, then that's a bad deed. Normal acts, eating without intention, is permissible if not request of prohibition connected to it. Like what we said last time, normal eating, for example, of salt is permissible. But if someone with blood pressure and the doctor said to him, you cannot eat salt, you need to cut salt, otherwise you are risking your life, then eating salt is becoming prohibited, and so on. Someone with cholesterol, someone with anything that, for example, with diabetes, and cannot resist sweets. Eating sweets might be what? For some people, in this case, haram. It might be haram. It might reach a haram stage if it's going to affect and threat his life. So we need actually to put the intention in the correct place. In the case of invalidation of wudu, if forgot. For example, if I forgot if I had wudu or not, then my intention is not going to be helping me. I remembered afterward that I did not have wudu, and I actually prayed without wudu. Is this going to be, well, my intention was good? That has nothing to do. My wudu was invalid, I did not have wudu, I prayed without wudu, then I need to do what? To repeat the prayer. In the case of compensation of damages due to kid or insane person act. For example, I had a kid, 4 years old, he was in the street, he threw a stone on someone's glass car, and it caused the damage of that car. There is no intention for that kid. In that case, intention has no place. And the compensation for the damage needs to be applied. Whether that person was insane, he had mental problems, or he is a kid, unaccountable, that damage needs to be compensated. Then the ruling is due to the reason the damage caused from the young or from the old. Example, intention in fasting is valid in the night, even if you ate after your intention. That's one of the cases. So if I want to have intention, of course, and we will speak about the intention for fasting, in the night before I start fasting, I intended that tomorrow I'm going to be fasting, but still I ate. That does not invalidate my intention. And we are going to speak about the types of intention. So that type of act, like the fasting, does not require intention at the act exactly. Other types of acts, they require intention at the act. For example, the salah. If I am praying, standing for prayer, I need to have the intention when I am starting. When I am saying Allahu Akbar, I need to have the right intention. So intention actually can be before and can be by the time. Yes,
I'm just thinking about the first point again.
Yeah.
And the example you gave about the damage caused in the kid and the insane person.
Yeah.
Doesn't that also fit in the court ruling, where in that case, intention has no relevance because it's an interaction between people?
Yes.
So if I'm a sane person and I'm reversing my car and I didn't see somebody and I hit them and I hurt them, intention is not there. I don't have any intention,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
But because it's an interaction between people.
Yes.
So is the difference that the interaction between people, intention doesn't play a part of it, you have to compensate, versus...
We will come to categorizing this. This is just a brainstorming about how sometimes intention is applied, sometimes intention is not applied, but in general, when it is interaction between people, it's where the intention is not applied, but what is the outcome from that transaction. That's why it's a pillar from the worship, actually, is to have the intention. Some scholars, they said it's not, but it's only Abu Hanifa. The majority of the scholars, they said intention is a pillar. It's not a condition. Two meaning of intentions. Number one, it's a differentiator of acts. For example, if I want to pray, I need to differentiate, I'm praying fard or sunnah. And if I'm praying, for example, if I'm making ghusl, I need to differentiate, I'm making ghusl from janaba or ghusl just for cooling. So the intention needs to be there. It's a differentiator whether it is for Allah or for someone else. And that's the tackle of the scholars who speak about tazkiyah and purification of the soul. So the first part is the topic of the fiqh scholars. The second part is the topic of the tazkiyah scholars, or the scholars who speak about purification of the soul. Now, did you get this, the difference between the two types of intentions? Because someone will have the right intention that I want to pray fard, dhuhr, 4 rak'ahs, for today, Allahu Akbar. That's the right intention. So according to fiqh, that prayer is accepted and fulfills the requirement. But in my heart, there's someone watching me, so I perfected my prayer. I made my prayer beautiful. So that thing is actually hitting here, because the intention now has partnership with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Because I'm not purely intending it for Allah, but I'm intending it to, for example, show off, or to show that I can do a good prayer. The ruling of intention, majority except Imam Abu Hanifa say that intention is obligation to have intention in worships when intention is a condition for validation or a pillar of the worship. For example, praying. If I don't have the intention, prayer is invalid. If I don't have intention when I'm making usul, it's cooling me. If I'm not having intention when I'm paying zakah, it's just sadaqah. So I have to have the intention. And sunnah for when the intention is not conditioned. For example, when I'm eating, the intention is not a condition to eat. But if I am having the intention, it's sunnah and I will get reward. So it's an obligation when it's coming to the worships and the pillars, and it will validate or not validate. And then it's a sunnah when it comes to permissible things and like eating and drinking. And they were not ordered except to worship Allah sincerely, and this is what all the scholars rely on from the sincerity and the intention part. Again, verily, acts are by intentions. So, not the actual act as it can exist, but the Islamic consideration of the act. So, sometimes, for example, someone will do an act which appears as a good act. I saw, for example, my neighbor in Jordan was a Christian and he built a mosque. He donated and built a mosque. When you look at it, it's a good act. But what is the Islamic consideration? So meaning that when we speak about verily acts are by intentions, it's not the act itself, but what is the position of Islam in regards to what happened. Okay? So the consideration is the position of Islam, or the consideration of Islam in what happens. There is an absent word in the hadith, the scholars they say. They said that acts acceptance are by intentions. When the Prophet ﷺ said, verily acts are by intentions, some of the scholars said that the Prophet ﷺ meant acts acceptance. Some other scholars said that acts correctness are by intentions. So the acts are correct if the intentions are correct. Others said the acts are accepted if the intention is correct, and so on. So it's all coming that without the right intention, there is no act accepted. Summary. The act that you are doing will not be related to any reward or punishment without the intention. So the intention is a key for us. Identifying the intended from other things is a condition in intention. How? It's not enough that I'm standing and I say, I want to pray. Allahu Akbar. I need to identify actually what I'm intending. I'm intending to pray what? Dhuhr or Asr or Sunnah, and so on. So identifying the intended from other things is a condition in the intention. So I cannot just intend to pray and that's it. If I did that, it will be just nafil, something that is outside any of the things like fard or sunnah. Whoever intended to do good deed and didn't due to external reason will be rewarded. So that's why they said intention sometimes is better than the act. How? The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever intended to do a good deed and he did not do it, he will get 1 reward. And did it, he will get 10 rewards and Allah will magnify. And whoever intended to do bad deed and did not do,
1
reward. And whoever did intend to do bad deed and did it, he will get 1 bad deed. So if you look at it, it's really that the majority of things are going to give you good deeds. That's why they say, whoever his singulars are exceeding his tens, he will be in heaven. What are his singulars and what are his tens? Whoever his singulars are exceeding his tens, من سبقت آحاده عشراته فقد هلك. However his singulars, what are the singulars? Every sin is what? One. Every good deed is what? 10. So whoever his singulars exceeded his tens, he's going to just be punished. It's Allah Azza wa Jal made for us all of these rewards and very fast, and yet some people in the scale, their bad deeds are heavier than their good deeds or more. That's where we are stuffing up. Sincerity in worships is the origin of acceptance and receiving the word. So if someone is doing something, as the Prophet ﷺ said in the Hadith Qudsi, whoever did an act and partnered with Allah Azza wa Jal, someone, Allah will leave him with whatever he partnered. And in the Hadith that some people will come in the Day of Judgment with closed books, meaning that the book is full of hasanat, no one single sayyah, and Allah will throw it, will not accept from it. Why? Because there was some small portion of the act to someone, to the show off, to the nafs, to shaitan. So that's why it's very important to look after our intentions. Yes?
Brother, what's the ruling if we can't get our intention to be 100% spot on? Let's say, for example, and you're praying and then all of a sudden shaitan whispers in your heart, or there's a little bit of a feeling that comes in your heart where you feel that this action might not be for Allah. What's the ruling on that?
You always need to fight. That's the only thing. That's why they say 1 foot on the nafs and shaitan and 1 foot on Jannah. So if you want to enter Jannah, you need to keep pressing. Keep pushing your nafs and keep pushing shaitan, and then try yourself a lot to purify the intention. Any normal act becomes reward by intention. So if we are eating, I can take hasanat by eating, by putting intention. So for example, someone knocked the door to one of the scholars' houses. And then the student came to open the door, and the scholar said, wait. Why are you opening the door? He said, it's just that someone knocking. I just want to open the door. He said, just wait. Have an intention. For example, if he is hungry, to give him some food. If he is lost, to guide him. If he is in need, to give him whatever he is in need. And then go open the door. So what is happening now? He's opening the door with all of these intentions. So even if none of these applied, he already got the reward. It's past. So look how Islam actually put all of this on intention for us really to focus. Normally we do lots of things just for the sake of doing them. But if we focus a little bit and try to put an intention for anything that we do, we actually take reward. You know, if we go to sleep, we can take reward or not. We can. If we go to sleep, we can. If we go do anything, we can. But nowadays, unfortunately, even we are not teaching our kids that going to school you are taking reward. Studying, the more you study, you take reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla. We always connect them. If you study more, you get good marks. You get into medicine. You get into... What about the intention and taking reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla? That's where we miss the point, and that's where our kids are attached to materials rather than attached to Allah Azza wa Jalla and the reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla. If the act was to satisfy people, or for becoming famous, or other intention, there is no reward. And we ask Allah that we don't take actually bad deeds for that. Some general rules about intention. Number 1, no reward without intention. Someone did something without intention, that's it, no reward. Number 2, acts are by maqasid. reasons behind the act. Whoever picked luqata. Do you know what's the meaning of luqata? Anyone knows what the meaning of luqata?
Something found on the street.
You were walking and you found a stack of dollars, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars in a bag. So you picked it. Okay. What was the intention for picking that? Or a necklace, a gold necklace, or a diamond, or something valuable. What was the intention for picking? This is called luqata. Is it for you to use or to keep? If your intention was for yourself to use or to keep it, that's a bad intention. But what should be the intention when I find something or I find luqata? What should be my intention? To find the owner of that and to return it to him. That's the right intention when I find the luqata. Whoever said to his wife, go to your parents' house. Some people say they become angry from their wife, go to your parents' house. Now the intention here goes in. What was the intention of the man when he said to his wife, go to your parents' house? Is it that he wants to divorce her? If the intention was the divorce, that's it. It's a divorce. So the acts are by what were they intended for. Some people read a verse in the prayer as an answer for a question. Like for example, in the Quran, someone is looking for something and he's scared from taking it, and someone is praying and watching him, and then he wants him to take it. He said, خُذْهَا وَلَا تَخَفْ سَنُعِيدُهَا سِيرَتَهَا. Take it and don't be scared. And this is a verse of the Quran. So saying that verse with the intention for the person outside the prayer to make an act is a wrong intention, and that invalidates the prayer actually. The whole prayer invalidates. For example, someone praying said, Alhamdulillah. Someone came from outside and said, your wife is praying. Your wife delivered. Everybody is safe. Alhamdulillah. Invalidates. The whole prayer done. Why? Because you are saying something that is not related to the prayer, not for the cause of their prayer. Yes.
What about sneezing?
What?
Sneezing.
Sneezing is natural. That's outside of our ability. So what I'm saying is that there need to be the intention behind the act. You cannot. Islam controls everything by the intention.
So if you sneeze, can you say Alhamdulillah?
Yeah. They said, for example, if he sneezed, someone sneezed in the prayer. And this happened at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Someone sneezed, said Alhamdulillah, and all the praying people said, Yarhamukallah, Yadina Yadikumullah, inside the prayer. So that does not. That's why the fuqaha said, for example, someone sneezed inside the prayer, said Alhamdulillah. Not a problem. Okay? The others cannot say Yarhamukallah. They can say Yarhamuhullah. So they are not speaking to him. So they are making dua during the prayer. So they are not speaking to him. Okay? So this is the difference. Consideration in contracts for intentions and meanings, not languages and words. And this is a big dispute between the scholars, whether actually we look at the literal meaning of the contracts that we sign between each other, or we look at the intentions and the meanings behind each of these words, and we are going to come to all of this in details. All scholars said about the place of the intention that the heart and the tongue, it is the heart that is the place of the intention. The tongue is not enough. So someone is saying, نَوَيْتَ أَنْ أُصَلِّي صَلَاةِ الظُّهْرِ, I'm intending to pray dhuhr, and his heart is thinking at the same time of something else. He's thinking about the car that he sent to the workshop, or he's thinking about, but his tongue is saying the intention. That's a wrong intention, and the prayer did not start. But someone did not say anything and said Allahu Akbar, and in his heart he knows that he is praying Salat al-Dhuhr. That's enough. So when it comes to where is the place of the intention, it is the heart. The tongue is not enough. Saying the intention loud is not a condition. So to say I intend praying this is not a condition. But if it's helping you to focus and concentrate, then there is no issue. So long as the heart is taking his part in the intention. It is sunnah to pronounce it loud according to the majority of the scholars. If the tongue and heart differ, then the heart is considered. And that's a scary problem. Whether every time we say, I intend to pray Dhuhr, my heart is thinking of something else, that's it. Now, let's speak about this.
Just a question. Sometimes we do some good deeds, whether someone asks us to do a favor for them at work or at home, and at that point in time you're so busy you forget to make the intention. Sometimes it happens. So can you actually, after doing it, then say Allah accepted it or make the intention for it?
Okay. So here is the condition of accepting the intention. Allah mentioned in Surah Al-An'am, "Man jaa bil hasanati falahu ashru amthal." Whoever came with the good deed, he will get 10 times. Okay? Now, the scholar said, what does it mean that whoever came with the good deed? Came where? To Allah in the Day of Judgment. Meaning that you need to have the intention and the correct intention in many stages. You need to have it before the act, you need to have it within the act, and you need to have it after the act, until you get to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Some people, they will have the right intention before, they will have the right intention during, and then after they will say, you haven't seen me yesterday, I was doing this, and I've done this, and I've done this, and Alhamdulillah, and Alhamdulillah. He's done. He's already done. His intention already corrupted. So he will not be able to come to Allah Azza wa Jalla without good deed, because he corrupted it at certain stage. So actually the intention is required continuously. That's why it's always recommended, especially with the intention, that we have the good intention before, we focus during, and then after, what do we do? What's the best thing to do after you do the good deed? Forget. Just forget. Not even bring it to your mind, because even bringing it to your mind is coming from shaitan. To remind you with the good things that you have done before, it's coming from shaitan. So we have to strive actually to fight our intentions, because it's all about our intentions, whether we are going to be rewarded or not. So we have to fight before, during, and after. Fight for the thoughts to go away, and then jump to the other good deed and so on. Try to focus as much as you can. Inshallah, Allah Azza wa Jalla will accept. Yes?
I wanted to ask, should the intentions only be for Allah? Like if you do something, if you help someone, so am I helping you because of Allah, so that Allah is pleased with me? Or I'm helping you so you can be comfortable and happy? How should our intention be?
Okay, so that's where we spoke about two types that people speak about intention. Fuqaha, those who are related to fiqh, and those who are speaking about the diseases of the heart. That comes to the second part. Okay? So the second part, when we speak about our intentions are always related to Allah Azza wa Jalla, to please Allah. If I am, for example, doing something good to my friend, to my neighbor, why am I doing that good thing to my neighbor? To please Allah Azza wa Jalla. If I am, some people actually, for example, make donation so Allah Azza wa Jal can protect their kids. Or make donation so Allah can protect their cars. As if you are dealing with a trade between you and Allah Azza wa Jal. Well, you still can do that. But you are asking for something as a payback for what you have provided. So you look at it like this. What would you prefer? To take that reward fully for you by Allah Azza wa Jal, or to take part of it in this dunya, and then you lose what you are going to take in the hereafter. Materialistic people are always referred to pay back in this dunya. I'm donating. Allah is giving me. I will continue donating, so Allah gives me, and so on. That's a question mark. So always try to make things, oh Allah, I'm donating for your sake. I'm helping my friend. It's only to please Allah. I am bringing up my kids. Why am I bringing up my kids? To please Allah. Why am I connecting with my parents? To please Allah. So my intention is always, because Allah asked me to connect with my parents, to be good to my neighbors, to help people. So I'm doing all of that because Allah Azza wa Jalla asked me. So my intention is all connected with whom? With Allah. This is how it should be. We have 5 levels. If I'm intending, or anyone is intending to do a sin. Level number 1 is called hajis. What is a hajis? Something that comes fast on your nafs and leaves. This is no accountability for it. Something bad came to your heart fast and left. No accountability. This is called hajis. Then we have khatir. It's called an idea. Something which moves in the nafs. So it comes, and then I start giving it some time to think about it. That's called khatir. We can push that away. And there is no accountability. Even if it's a bad thinking. No accountability. Then, hadithun nafs. Nafs conversation. Where you actually start feeling what you are speaking about. Shall I do it or not? Still, at this stage, no accountability. Then comes ham. Ham, most likely I will do it. So I actually might do it. There is accountability here. Then, that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, Man hamma, whoever did ham for something to do. Okay? So he reached that stage. Because anything, any bad deed, starts from here. From hajis, goes into khatir, into nafs conversation, into ham. So he's most likely going to do it. And then after that, azm. Then I am asserting that I will do that. The last 2, accountability is there. Okay? When is the time of intention? For example, the general ruling that the time of the intention is always at the beginning of the act, the worship. When I'm saying Allahu Akbar for my salah, at that time I must have my intention. Okay? Fasting can be earlier, after Maghrib. I intended to pray for, or to fast for next day. Hajj can be early at Talbiyah. Whoever went to Hajj will know. Because the Hajj rituals start in Mecca. So you can actually 4, 5, 6 hours before you start the intention. Zakah and Zakat al-Fitr, I can say at home, I'm intending, this is the money for Zakat. I did not give it to the poor anymore yet. But I started my intention early. I separated them at home, assigned, so I can intend before. Okay? So as you can see, jami' between prayers. I can have my intention for Dhuhr and Asr jami', which is the joining the prayer. At Dhuhr, to join the Asr, which is before, and so on. Udhiyah, I can have the intention for the Udhiyah way before, and before slaughtering it. So some require actually at the time, some can be early. How the intention being done? So, the intention is differentiating the worship from each other. That's number one. Pray from wudu. I need to differentiate. I'm doing wudu or pray. Differentiating types of the same worship. Sunnah from fard, dhuhr from asr. Example. I am fasting today. I'm not eating or drinking. Why I am fasting? Some people fast to please Allah Azza wa Jalla. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever fasts one day for the sake of Allah, Allah will make a distance between him and hellfire 70 years. So, some people fast like this. And then he will say, my doctor said I have to do diet and I have to fast. Let me fast actually, and this way I hit 2 in 1. So can I do fasting and intending diet as well? So I will leave it for you, I will not answer this question. Wudu. Some people, so what should be the intention for example, doing wudu? I'm doing wudu. What is my intention? Scholars said, remove hadath. Hadath meaning that whatever breaks my wudu. So all what we are going to speak about, I want to remove the hadath, meaning that I want to stay on tahar, having the state of wudu all the time. That might be an intention. Intention, being able to perform salah. So I'm doing wudu in order to perform salah. That's an intention. I'm doing wudu, I'm obeying Allah's order because Allah ordered me to do wudu. I'm doing wudu, being able to do things that can't be done except with wudu. Like I want to do tawaf. I want to read Quran. I want. So doing wudu can be with different intentions. So you can have salah. What are the intentions to do salah? Act, I want to pray. The fard, obligation, and the type, dhuhr. Okay? These 3 things need to be inside the intention of salah. So assign exactly what you want to pray, fard, and that's the obligation, and I want to perform it. So that's the intention. Okay? What about if I suspected in my intention? I started my prayer, and then halfway after 2 rak'ahs, am I praying dhuhr or asr? Then I will start remembering, are we in the time of dhuhr or asr? I did not focus. Did I do the intention or not? This life is so busy that people, when they stand to pray, they have only 3-4 minutes to pray. They sometimes forget. This is very serious matter. Suspecting invalidates the worship. So if I have a suspicion, I'm not sure. That's it. The prayer is gone. You need to start again with the focused intention. Changing intention. Halfway, I'm praying Asr. Hold on, it's dhuhr time. I will change my intention to dhuhr. Done. The prayer is done. I cannot change intention. Yes?
In regards to suspecting, and the hadith where the companions have forgotten which rak'ah they were on, or they had methods to
That's a
remember.
different story. So during the prayer, I forgot I'm 3 or 4. I will consider 3 and build on that. But During the prayer, I forgot this is Asr or Dhuhr. It's done. Okay?
And what about in terms of changing intention? Let's just say you started with the intention to pray 2 rak'ah sunnah, but you want to make it halfway through the prayer and make it 4 rak'ah nafil, for instance.
We'll speak about things like this. Pray will invalidate if, number one, cancelling the intention. I'm praying, I said, I just want to stop praying. The moment I thought, and that's it, I wanted to cancel my intention, that invalidates the prayer. Hesitation. Shall I leave the prayer or not? Shall I leave or not? The moment I started thinking, hesitant to leave the prayer or not, like sometimes you will be praying, and then what happens is that someone is knocking on the door, or the mobile is ringing. It might be something important. Shall I leave the prayer or not? That moment of hesitation invalidates the prayer. Deciding to stop praying, even though you continued after, that invalidates. Decide of leaving the prayer. Suspecting of intention. I did not know whether I intended or I did not. Changing from a prayer to another invalidates as well. So anything related to, look how important the intention is.
So Obaydah, just coming back to the point.
Yes.
If you said you're praying, you don't know if you're praying Dhuhr or Asr, should you stop your prayer and then start praying again?
Start again. Focus on your intention at the beginning and then start again. Joining 2 intentions. Can I join 2 intentions?
Just before you go ahead, regarding the hesitation.
Yes.
Yeah, I have seen people praying nawafil before, expecting they can finish the prayer before the fard come on, and all of a sudden, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. I don't know what goes in their mind, but of course will be, as a result, they break it and they go and join the...
Yeah, that's valid for if you are entering the masjid, for example, his question, and you want to pray sunnah of entering the masjid, and then the imam out of a sudden, Sister Ilya, can you close the door? The imam out of the sudden made a qam. You already started praying the sunnah. So what to do? There are lots of opinions of the scholars. We are going to come to it. But in this case, you cannot have hesitation in your attention. You have to make up your mind. Okay? And the scholars, they said, just a quick one, if you know you can capture the takbirat al-ihram, which is the first takbir of the imam, continue fast and capture. If you know you will not be able to capture it, takbirat al-ihram reward is more than what you are doing. Stop and go. And catch takbirat al-ihram. That's a quick one. Okay, joining 2 intentions. Ghusl for janaba and for Friday. We know that Friday ghusl is sunnah. So someone is making ghusl for Friday and for janaba. That's accepted. No, you take reward for that. 2 fards. I'm joining Dhuhr and Asr in 4 rakats. Cannot. It's not accepted. Fasting, qada, and kaffara. You know what's kaffara? Like
Expiation.
It's
Expiation of sin.
expiation of a sin. Or expiation of something. So if you are fasting, and you have 2 intentions, qada and kaffara, the scholar said the stronger will be taking the... So it will be applied for qada, and it will not be applied for kaffara. So it will be considered for qada.
What's the difference between qada and you say explain kafara? What's qada?
Qada, like for example, I missed 1 day in Ramadan because I was sick
For a valid reason.
for a valid reason. Okay? So I need to do qada after Ramadan. And then I have a kaffara, I made a yameen or swore by Allah Azza wa Jal, and I need to break that sword. So a kaffara might be actually to fast. So I said I will join the intention. Qada, the day that I have in Ramadan, and the kaffara of that yameen. Then it will be considered for qada only.
Is that because they're both fard?
Yes,
What about in regards to fasting that's qada and fasting that's sunnah?
we'll come to it. Zakah and kafara. So because kafara, sometimes it's paying money, it will go for zakah. Fard and nafil, it will go for fard. So in general, someone is praying, Salat al-Fajr is 2 rak'ahs, Sunnah is 2 rak'ahs, it will go for Salat al-Fajr. Okay? 2 Sunnahs, it will be accepted for both, so long as they are related, as we are going to see now. Yes?
What about if you missed a day in Ramadan with a valid reason and you want to fast the 6 days of Shawwal, can you combine your intention if one of them is fard, the other one's nafil or sunnah?
Okay, so that's a good question. It will come, but I will answer it before. Actually, I heard many answers about this from the scholars, from really respected scholars. The most beautiful answer that I really prefer to follow is that when you are coming, especially for example for women who will miss some days from Ramadan and then they will come to Shawwal, they have something qada to make up and they have Shawwal. So what to do in this case? Which is a priority? The scholars, they said to do the Shawwal, the Sunnah, because it has a limited time. They have the full year to do the qada. But Shawwal days are only due Shawwal. And then after Shawwal, you will lose the reward for that. So that's the most opinion that I follow. Yet I heard some opinions speaking about joining the fard with the nafil. You can go with that because it is a valid opinion and it's based on some valid evidence. But I prefer the first one, which is more beloved, and you can do more from fasting than just joining. Now, rulings for joining intentions. Intention for worship and normal act. Like slaughtering an animal. That invalidates the act. And the reward will not be there. So, I am intending in order, I'm slaughtering an animal for Allah and for someone else, for someone else, a human being. So that's partnership in worship. That will invalidate. Wudu and cooling. Let's make wudu. And at the same time, the wudu will cool me down. It's hot. So, most likely it will be accepted, inshallah. Intention of fard and sunnah worship. We said, ghusl, for example, janaba and jam'ah is accepted. Fasting, arafah and qada. That's the other opinion that I said to you, which is joining sunnah and fard in the fasting. Accepted. Fard and tarawih. Cannot. It's only fard. You are praying Isha. You said, I will pray Isha. You came late. They are praying tarawih. You say, I will pray 4 rak'ahs Isha and tarawih at the same time. No. It will be counted only fard. It will not be counted as tarawih. Zakah and sadaqah. That one will go to sadaqah. You need to make the zakah. Takbir, and this is very important here. I came late, the imam is in ruku', I entered the prayer, I said, Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. What is required from me? 2 takbiras. Takbirat al-ihram is fard. And then takbirat al-ruku' is sunnah. So I'm joining 2 in 1. What does that do? Not accepted for any of the 2. The prayer is not valid. You did not pray.
The prayer or the rak'ah?
The whole prayer is not valid. You did not start.
It hasn't started.
That's why I see this a lot, and it needs to be really, people need to be educated. That you need to stand, say Allahu Akbar with full stretch. Allahu Akbar. and then Allahu Akbar, two takbiras, that's valid. But that's Allahu Akbar, that's done. You did not enter the prayer. It will not be accepted. Fard and Sunnah prayer, not accepted. So,
Hang on, sorry, Abu Obaydah.
tell me.
Fard and Sunnah prayer not accepted. But up there, Fard and Taraweeh is Fard.
For that case, it's considered for Fard. But in general, Fard and Sunnah generally, it will not be accepted.
For either.
Yeah. You need to focus on what Fard or what Sunnah. You are praying, for example, you are coming for Taraweeh at the time of Taraweeh, Isha, Allahu Akbar, Fard, and Taraweeh because they are praying, no, it's Fard. Okay? But if you are from the beginning, you are on your own, and you want to pray Fajr and Sunnat al-Fajr at the same time, no, cannot. Okay? It will not be considered for any. Yes.
Does the same apply if you walk in the masjid with intentions for Fard, but you only find someone praying Sunnah and you want to make congregation with them to pray
No,
Fard?
your prayer is Fard valid. Even though he is Sunnah, but your intention is Fard is valid. And you will be considered Jama'ah. Two Fard. Ghusl and wudu. So someone will enter the shower with two intentions. Doing ghusl and doing wudu at the same time. These are two fards. This is accepted. And you will come out from ghusl with full wudu. Two sunnahs. Duha and fajr. Not accepted. Sunnah of entering the masjid and sunnah of dhuhr. Accepted. What's the relationship? These are related, these are not related. Duha and fajr are way separated. Okay? But when you are entering the masjid, and you need to pray sunnahs of entering the masjid and sunnah of the prayer that you are entering for, they are related. So you can join that sunnah. But separating them, you cannot.
Do all the madhabs agree on that, or is it?
Yes. When we yes.
Sorry, topic about fasting. So if we do, let's say, Mondays and Thursdays regularly, so when you come to the month of Shawwal, so if you do the Mondays, Thursdays, and you have the intention for it to be included in the Shawwal, the 6 days, would it be included? Is it together?
Yes, because these are two sunnahs, and they are related to each other. We have some conditions of intention in regards to the question, especially for Taraweeh, the scholars mentioned for that case. But that is the general rule that you cannot, it will invalidate. But for Taraweeh and Isha, it's Isha. What are the conditions of intentions? Number one, Islam. So, there is one exception, scholars spoke about, because any act of worship, it has to have an intention, and that intention needs to be from a Muslim. But if one Muslim is married to a Christian wife, and we know that, for example, in Islam, during the period time, you cannot, for example, have any relationship except after ghusl. So then what happens to that Christian wife? She will have the intention. Can be that applied that she has to be a Muslim in order to have the intention? They said no, but she has to have the intention for ghusl, even though she is not a Muslim. So in that case. Number two of the conditions that the intention is accepted, that the person can differentiate, meaning that he is not a kid. Now what's the concept of differentiation nowadays? Is the age is going down for differentiation? So the intended act of insane or undifferentiated kid is mistake. So if someone did wrong from any of these people, is considered a mistake. It's not a sin. While differentiating kid is considered as a sin. So some of the kids who differentiate actually, that they are doing this and knowing that this is wrong and they are doing it, that's not a mistake. That's a sin. Who's taking that sin? Is he accountable?
Half.
Half? Or fully to the parents? So if a kid actually has done a sin, differentiating that sin, knowing that he is doing that sin and it is a sin, his parents did not teach him that this is a sin. It will be in their scale. So they are taking the accountability. Okay? Knowledge of the intended.
Or when you say it's taking into their records, the kids, they are kids still.
They are still kids.
So they keep it for later use or what?
For later.
It goes to the parents.
It goes to the parents.
Goes to the parents. Okay,
the
yeah,
parents
that's what I could.
Because the parents did not take their role.
Okay.
They have to teach the kids what is halal and what is haram. They did not teach. The kid went and did the wrong thing.
No, I'm talking if you have taught those kids about
You have relieved your responsibility.
but the kids still will be sinless.
If you took all of the means to avoid your kid to go that pathway, you are free. The kid will not be accountable. The sins will start counting the day of puberty. Yes, sister?
So what if you teach the kid and then that kid still does?
Yeah,
It's
that's
not counted halal?
No?
that's the question.
That's his question. So long as you are teaching, you are doing your responsibility, then you will be not accountable. Number 3, knowledge of the intended. For example, whoever doesn't know that prayer is fard. So, someone doesn't know that prayer is fard. He doesn't have knowledge that he wants to have intention to pray fard. So he needs to have that knowledge of what he is intending to do. Not committing what invalidates intention. What invalidates intention? I am praying, so my intention is correct. Someone, while he is praying, rebounded from Islam. That invalidates the intention. Pray, then stopping of the prayer. Having the intention to stop of the prayer, or hesitation, or, that will invalidate the intention. So these are the 4 conditions of intention. Sometimes there are conditional intentions. So, for example, someone will say, if tomorrow is 30 Sha'ban, I will not fast. If it is Ramadan, I will fast. You know how it happens a lot, that you don't know tomorrow is Ramadan or Sha'ban. Still, we will continue Sha'ban or Ramadan. And at some stages in Adelaide, some people will be waiting until 3 a.m. for Saudi Arabia to announce that it's Ramadan or not Ramadan. And what happens is that they will have the intention in the night. Well, if tomorrow is Ramadan, I will fast. If tomorrow is Sha'ban, I will not. That doesn't count. Some people, the problem is, some people will sleep. Will wake up after Fajr. Doesn't count. It invalidates. But if it is the other way around, you are in Ramadan, and you don't know tomorrow is Shawwal or Ramadan, you will have the intention to fast, to continue Ramadan, because you are already in Ramadan. But if it is not Ramadan, you can break it because you are not allowed to fast. Okay? But it cannot be the other way around. It cannot be from Shawwal entering into Ramadan. You have to have a clear intention. Either you are fasting or not. But from Ramadan exiting, you can. I will break my prayer if someone comes. So I'm praying, I'm expecting someone to knock the door, so I decided if he knocks the door, I will break my prayer and getting him. That invalidates. So conditional intentions sometimes don't count. I'll fast tomorrow, inshallah. What's the meaning of inshallah? If you are making it a condition, that doesn't count. And you cannot fast. It invalidates your fasting. But if you are saying it for barakah, that's okay. So if you are putting a condition for your fasting, that's the problem.
I work with the people, and we say, once you say, Inshallah, they say, no, you're not gonna do it.
You're not going to do it.
This is a cultural stuff, that when you say Inshallah means, can't trust.
Intention is a pillar. When you say a pillar, meaning that it invalidates if it does not exist. So I cannot do without that pillar. In the wudu, in the salah, in the ghusl, in the tayammum, in the hajj. And intention is condition in fasting, in i'tikaf, in zakah, and some other stuff.
So, if it's a condition and it's not there, it's still invalid.
Of course.
So, what is the difference?
The difference that it's part of or outside.
Okay.
So when you say the wudu is a condition of validity of prayer, is the wudu part of the prayer? No. It's a condition.
Okay.
Okay? For example, you say the cleanliness of the place where you pray is a condition for validating your prayer. Is it part of the prayer? No. It's outside the prayer, but it invalidates the prayer if it is wrong. Divorce. Intentions in divorce. Imam Ahmad and Imam Abu Hanifa confirmed with pronouncing regardless. Like for example, if someone giving a lesson like me, and his wife is sitting in front of him, and he said to him, he's teaching them, if I said to my wife, you are divorced, and he's teaching, according to Imam Ahmad and Imam Abu Hanifa, she is divorced. Even without the intention. They go with the actual pronunciation. According to Imam Shafi'i and Imam Malik, they will ask him, what was your intention? If your intention was actually to divorce, they will approve the divorce. And that's where actually you see how things like this will give you some movement. Some people they need the first one to threaten them. Some people, they need the second one because they went into mistakes and they were sincerely having that. Okay. Intention in permissible and habits. If permissible things were intended to help strengthen worship, like I'm eating to strengthen myself, to be able to pray better, to be able to do better da'wah, then that becomes a worship. So if I'm eating, I'm taking hasanat. Any permissible or habit can become worship and be rewarded by intention. Oh Allah, this is a dua that the scholars taught us to say at the beginning of each day. If you say, oh Allah, whatever I do today or tonight from good is for obeying your order. And whatever I leave from sin is to obey your prohibitions. What happens with this dua? If you look at this dua, you are saying to Allah from the beginning of the day, anything I do good, I intend to obey. So you already set your intention from the beginning. So anything good you do, already the intention has been assigned before. Intention in other matters, just quickly, in the will. Someone wants to die, he wrote a will. If the intention was good, he will be rewarded, or else it will be correct. Someone intended, for example, and put in his will to donate. So part of my will is to donate for the poor people. This is correct, and he will take reward. Although, why didn't he donate actually when he was living? He should be donating while he's living. Waqf. You know what's the meaning of waqf? Something that was assigned by the side only for Allah Azza wa Jal or for the Muslims or whatever. This can be accepted from even a non-Muslim. But if you have the good intention, you will take reward. Marriage. The scholars said being busy in marriage is better than lots of worships. But marriage requires good intention. So being busy to look for a good wife or a good husband or just correcting the intention, that's better than actually lots of worship. Judging requires intention. Compensation of damage does not require intention. It's a must. You have to do. Kafara requires intention. Kafara for what? I'm intending kafara for breaking my fast or for my swearing by Allah Azza wa Jalla. Udhiyah requires intention. So in summary, the intention is the radar of the heart. It directs the person either to good or bad. It is the criteria to decide acceptance of the good deeds. It is the reason for the reward in the hereafter. However, his intention is right, his inside is clean, he will win in this life and the hereafter. All coming around our intentions and our hearts. And after that, inshallah, next week we'll start with the ibadat. And we have lots of things to cover with the ibadat. And inshallah, we'll see you next week unless someone has any question. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك.